There is a new Android malware named NGate that leverages NFC technology to relay payment card data from compromised smartphones to facilitate unauthorized ATM withdrawals. What proactive measures can individuals take to protect their payment information from this malware? Google has urgently patched its 9th Chrome zero-day vulnerability of the year, highlighting a critical flaw in the V8 JavaScript engine that has already been exploited in active attacks. And finally, a Kentucky man named Jesse Kipf orchestrated a cyber heist by hacking into state death registries to fake his own death in order to evade child support. This, among many other cybercrimes, has landed him a sentence of over 6 years in prison. We'll be talking about this and more as you continue to listen to the Daily Decrypt. Researchers at ESET just uncovered a new kind of malware called NGate. This sneaky software relays data from your payment cards via a malicious app installed on your Android device to an attacker's rooted phone. NGate's main goal is unauthorized ATM withdrawals. It relays the NFC data from your payment card through your compromised Android device straight to the attacker. And if you're like me, you keep your credit cards on a wallet attached to your phone, which is exactly how far a credit card needs to be in order to receive the data. So the phone is grabbing the payment details from your card wirelessly using near-field communication, or NFC, which is just the same technology you use to tap your card on payment. You know, if you had a Venmo account, someone could tap their card on your Android phone and send all the payment info. This is what's happening. And what these attackers are doing is sending you a text from what looks like your bank, asking you to install this app to access your funds within that bank, but it's not actually from your bank, and it's going to steal the information from whatever credit cards it finds through NFC, as well as whatever information you may enter into that app. So just be careful, especially from SMS numbers that you don't recognize. If the message is unsolicited, take pause and don't click the links. But say, for example, you just signed up for a new bank, you might be expecting something like that. If the attackers find out that you just signed up for a new account, they'll send you that text before your bank does, and then you'll be more likely to click that link, which is what I think is happening here. So either way, make sure you're downloading the legitimate apps from the App Store and not clicking links that lead you to the apps. Additionally, you can turn off NFC on your Android phone when it's not in use. And you can also get those little NFC sleeves to put your credit card in so that even if there is a device in close range, it can't clone that NFC communication. Google has just released an emergency update for Google Chrome to fix a zero-day vulnerability that's being actively exploited in the wild. This vulnerability is identified as CVE 2024-7971 and affects Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. This vulnerability stems from a type confusion weakness, which can allow attackers to execute arbitrary code on your device. The good news is that Google has fixed this with the most recent Chrome update for all platforms, which will roll out over the next few weeks. But you can speed it up if you go to Chrome's menu, Help, and then About Google Chrome, and click Update and Relaunch. And as mentioned, this is the 9th zero-day patch by Google in 2024 alone, which just showcases the constant battle that they're facing against these cyber threats. So if you see that pop up in the next couple of weeks asking you to update your Google Chrome, make sure you do it as soon as possible. I know it's scary that all your tabs are going to close and you might be in the middle of some things, but usually it opens up and reopens all those tabs to exactly what you were doing in a matter of seconds. It can save you a lot of heartache by getting this done as soon as possible. And finally, a Kentucky man named Jesse Kipf just got sentenced with 81 months in federal prison for a mind-blowing cybercrime or string of cybercrimes. Kipf hacked into the Hawaii death registry system, posing as a doctor to fake his own death. Why? To dodge child support payments. But, it didn't stop there. He also infiltrated multiple state death registries and private business networks, trying to sell access to these attacks on the dark web. And I was lucky enough to attend a talk by the FBI agent who was doing the investigation into Jesse a few months ago in Louisville, Kentucky. And although this agent was unable to give specific details in certain aspects of the story due to it being an ongoing investigation, we were able to get the gist of this story. And let me tell you, Jesse Kipf has committed a lot of cybercrimes, right? He's what's known as an initial access broker, where he goes and finds ways to access different environments, different customers' networks, and then sells those access points to the highest bidder. The bidders tend to be people who go on to commit much more serious cybercrimes like ransomware or data theft. But at the time that he was arrested, during the raid, the FBI raid of Jesse's house, they found over a terabyte of access credentials. So that's just usernames and passwords in plain text. Sure, some of them might have been duplicated. Some of them might have been pulled down from the dark web. I don't know. But he was in possession of over a terabyte. And I don't know the exact number. We're going to have to wait for the case files to surface for that. But it was significantly more than a terabyte. I'm saying a terabyte to be on the modest side, which could wrap around the earth in pieces of paper a few times. That's how many sets of access credentials he had on this hard drive. But the crime at the center of attention during his sentencing this Tuesday was for hacking into the Hawaii death registry, among other death registries, and creating a death certificate for himself so that he could get out of paying his child support, which is a very important reason to do that, but also probably to help keep the feds off his tail as he continued to commit multiple cybercrimes, right? But the interesting thing is that initial access brokers like Jesse are really hard for the FBI to nail down because they usually have to do something with that initial access to be noticed. So simply getting in and stealing credentials and then selling them usually is a pretty profitable business. It's the people that use those credentials that end up getting in trouble, so you're pretty safe. So had he never hacked into the Hawaii death registry and pretended to be a doctor, he might still be going strong as an initial access broker. But the FBI, all it takes is one count of impersonating somebody else, and they can throw you in jail for, I believe, up to 4 years. So that's usually what the FBI does. That's what its tactic is to get them on one account, get them in jail, and then keep going through and getting them on more accounts as you're investigating. So in this case, Jesse pretended to be a doctor who's a real person who signed this death certificate. And there are a lot of interesting tidbits about how the FBI found him, to include timestamps from logins from this doctor, who actually hadn't logged into the Hawaii death registry system in multiple years, wasn't even employed by them anymore. It's just a very cool case, and I highly recommend you follow the chain of articles from the one linked in our show notes below and really peel the layers of the onion away and enjoy a good story from the very rare US-based cyber criminal.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.